still get nervous at these things because, well, so
I
we're
put on
all
perfume.
together.
Why would I do that?
Oh my gosh, that is making I put on perfume. Why did I do that? Oh, I
And
can
then I'm like, why did I do
smell it. Amazing. Okay. All right. Okay. All right. So today we have Catherine Stark. Catherine Stark took on the Scotia Music 365 last January and just finished it with bagpiping. Tell us a little bit about this.
uh, well, it was you were the coordinator, which was just it was fantastic. And so I got up every day. A lot of it was just about creating like a really good routine. So, when last winter it was hard to try to find that. Like the summer is always easier because you have more daylight hours, you can go outside. But it was hard in the winter trying to find, okay, when am I going to practice so that doesn't conflict with things and that I can get in a good practice. So what I started doing is I was getting up every single morning, and I still am. I haven't taken a day off yet. 6:45, get up, go to Tim Hortons, I grab a coffee, and then I find a place to park. We're out in the country, so we've got a lake down the road, and I just pulled over, and I got my metronome on the dash and my music, and I can play. And the really cool thing is, with the phones and Bluetooth, if I had any recordings and things like that, I could hook it up to the vehicle and play it through the speakers and play along, like if from recordings from band practice and things like that, right? So it was really good. And like I said, I haven't taken a day off yet. I really enjoy that routine, and they all know me at Timmy's. They're like, have a good practice. And
Oh, that's amazing. I love that.
yeah,
So, that initial moment, what was the initial moment that you're like, okay, I'm going to take this on and I'm going to do it?
my my husband and my daughter, they were doing those running challenges where you pick a certain virtual course somewhere in the world, and he was doing Cape Breton, she was doing somewhere else. And you set a goal for yourself, how many kilometers you want to do per day, and then when you're done the challenge you get a medal, right? So they're doing that, and I'd much rather pipe than run. So I'm like, well, I can do this. Sounds great. And it was great. It was really, really great. It was challenging, and it was really great all at the same time.
Oh, good. Well, I got to tell you, it was awesome watching all of these photos coming because I would get photos from you and videos from you, and even the one where you're on the bridge and you're waving to traffic while you're piping and
Oh
everything.
yeah,
Really
down the
awesome
train
watching
bridge.
the
Yeah.
journey. It really became a journey. I mean, you were in different places throughout Canada too.
Yeah, like trying to fit it in. When we'd head down home to see family and stuff. I know we pulled over the one day somewhere in New Brunswick along that big long stretch of highway, I think between Fredericton and I don't know. And you just, it's like, okay, we're going to pull over, and the dog's got to pee. So my husband would take the dog for a walk, and I pulled out the pipes and I played, right? and and then I remember the Tim Hortons right on the by when you get off the bridge going into PEI. I sat there one day and I played, and I think that you got that video about 10 o'clock at night. There's been some close calls too. Where I'm
Oh,
like,
yes. I
yeah.
remember like 10 to 12, 10 to midnight. Oh
I think 11:48 was my latest to practice. So I think I had like 2 minutes. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And that was just last week. I'm like, can you imagine like the whole year like gone sour because I'm knitting too late and I missed it?
Oh, yes. And
Oh,
you knit. Tell me about your knitting, please.
oh gosh. Well, I
Oh,
started
good.
knitting. Oh God. Well, I love to knit. I have a small fiber flock of sheep. So I love to spin. I love to knit. Uh, I love using my own wool as much as I can. I love to weave. Yeah, I like all that kind of stuff. And the sheep don't mind the pipes, which is nice.
Oh, that's good. That's
Yeah.
that's good. Um, what about your favorite memory? Do you have a favorite memory of what happened, or a few favorite memories that stick out from this year?
Oh gosh. Well, I remember there was the one night I was practicing in a hotel and I caught the video. Remember the one that I was playing in the bathtub? And oh god. And I had set my camera up and I had made sure I set it up in a way where it's like I could hear what I was doing, you knew what I was doing, and I put my drink right in front of it, right? So, and somehow the drink moved. I think I took a sip and I forgot. It really kind of X-rated really fast. And it was interesting because I went back and I looked at the video before I sent it to you, which often I did. Listening back to recordings really became uh well, it was a blessing sometimes, and other times it was just drove me insane. But to listen back and, did I get that part of the tune this time, right? Am I getting it musical? Am I on the beat? Am I, yeah, just all these different things that you play and you're like, yeah, I got it. And then you listen back, you're like, oh crap, I didn't,
Oh,
you know?
I know. And it's the
And
worst with pipes, I find. Oh,
yeah,
you know?
and I listened back to that video and I'm looking at like, oh, we're just gonna take a screenshot of this one and she can trust me. That was good. Like it was good. It became really hard sometimes when you're listening back to yourself.
Oh yeah.
Because I think as an adult, like I am still very green at this, right? Like I've only been playing, I think this is my 7th year since my first chanter, lesson. Um, it takes a lot longer to fix things, a lot longer to learn things, and even longer to fix things, right?
Mhm.
So yeah, some days it would be like, oh, I missed it again, right? But then the next day it's like, all right, let's go.
All right. So, share advice on how to keep going. Like, what did you do in those moments where just any advice on how to keep going with something that you really want to do?
I had good friends. I had good support. I had you. I cried a few times, but that I think goes with just everybody's had their challenges these last couple of years through COVID, and I think it's just that much easier to get down on yourself, right? And so I have I have a really good piping kind of community that I'm with, right? That you are always just like a text away, right? On those really during some of those tough times. And then I have a really good teacher here, Jamie Connolly, and I have to give it to him too, because the more you practice, the more questions you have,
Mhm.
right? You practice, and it's like, I don't know how to do that, and you want to fix it, right? Because you need to get back at it the next day. So he was always really good about, just ask me anything, send me a text, and oh, I did. Poor guy.
Oh, yes, it does help to have that community in anything you do, just to be able to keep going.
Yeah,
Well, I
yeah.
gotta say, like, it was definitely when you were talking about the how it's been a hard few years with the pandemic and stuff. You were my shining light throughout everything. I tell you, no, seriously, because it was hard. Like it's been hard musically and owning a business and trying to find my own way, and some doors were shutting and blah blah blah, and then all of a sudden I would get this notification from you. And it just it was like it became so, even if I wasn't able to look at the notification right away, or if it was just that moment I knew that it was just like it was just something uplifting to know
Yeah.
that there's somebody they just kept going. You kept going throughout the whole year. You did it. Like It was amazing. I mean, I play music almost every day, but I wasn't keeping track. But then I think of those days I'm sitting down, oh man, I can't do, oh ding. Oh, I guess I better go practice because it was like an alarm. No, it was just so nice. It was so nice. And like getting through all the negative in the air, and then I don't know, I just and it's funny because we haven't actually met in person yet.
I know. We
But
keep
it
missing
feels
each other.
like,
Well, so many flights have been canceled down east for us, and it's like,
yeah.
oh gosh.
Yeah, so definitely advice would be to get that community that can get you through it. And I love how you're still doing it. It's become your daily routine.
Yeah, it has. Yeah.
You find
Alarm's there. It's just, yeah, it's just a good thing.
good. Do you find you're easier on how can I explain it? Do you find that this whole thing was more of a positive thing towards your playing?
Oh yeah, big
Oh,
time.
good. Good.
Yeah,
Because there was
yeah,
a part of me I was wondering after I did the program if it was going to be a positive, right? And not
yeah.
kind of just doubting or not making the mark, that sort of thing. So,
Yeah, no, like in the last video that I did, which like I'm thinking back and I'm like, there's tunes that I'm playing that they might not be perfect yet, but a year ago, I wouldn't have even thought my fingers could even do it. Or I could even, you know, blow through, like, like just blow steady through something like that. So there's been more than just playing the tunes. Like, and again, this is because I'm still, I believe, kind of new to the instrument. When you compare yourself to people who've been playing since they were kids, like yourself, right? Or some of these fellas and that've been playing, for 30 plus years, right? They're talking about tone and they're talking about all this other stuff, uh, and so there's been a lot to learn that way, and just even the dynamics of how my pipes work. And that's another thing that's happened during this pandemic is before, you go to band, something was wrong with your pipes, and somebody would fix it, right? There was always, somebody that was kind of there, oh, let's see, let's do this for you. I had to kind of learn how to do a lot of that, right? Or figure it out. And that got hard too. But as hard as it was, I still had to get my practice in every day. So it's like, okay, we got to fix this, right? So yeah, that kept me going too, right? Yeah, so there's a lot to learn, and it was hard, but I learned a ton, right? So that was really good.
I'm so proud. I honestly am so proud of you. I am. I'm so proud of you. I don't
But
even know.
you've done so much these couple years too. Like, holy
Oh,
crap.
well, there was, okay, so I was having a really, really bad day, and I was like, what am I, what am I doing wrong? Why am I getting like the door slammed in front of me when it comes to playing the bagpipes? Why is this happening? Isn't this supposed to be a journey where we're making sure that this culture stays alive? Isn't that the whole point of music?
Mhm.
And then she just said, just keep your head down and keep going. She said, there's going to be times where you're going to be so disappointed. And then and she says, probably more times where you'll be disappointed. But then it's those happy times that make up for it. But she said, just keep your head down and just keep going. And then, so that's basically what I've been doing. Keep your head down, keep going. Probably same thing with you. Keep your head down, go to Tim Hortons, get your coffee, sit down, and just do it.
Yeah.
Or your tea, right?
What's that?
Tea, right? Or coffee? I can't
Oh,
remember.
it's been coffee.
Oh, it's
There's been a transition during this 365 to coffee. Strong coffee.
you are welcome.
I just got animals crawling all over the place.
Oh,
Come on up here.
no.
Come up here. Come on. Come up here. Come on. I know, get your bum. There.
Oh, what a sookie.
He looks like he's got a bad perm.
Oh.
Okay. This good boy.
Oh, so sweet.
Yeah, he's been very good through this too.
Oh, that's
We
good.
might go on together.
All right, so I guess it's the last question. What's next?
I think the only thing that, and this is because of COVID, that I want to maybe think of doing another challenge and maybe do it in the better weather is I have terrible anxiety when I'm playing in front of people. And I think that's my biggest thing. Like I'll play by myself and I think I sound pretty good. And then, you hit that play button or record or whatever, or you hear people, you see people, in the distance, especially when I was playing on the train bridge, right? And it's like, okay, I don't know how to play anymore, right? And so perhaps maybe another challenge for me would be 100-day challenge, do it in the better weather, and I have to play every day, either down at that train bridge where I know people can hear me, or just somewhere else where I know I can be heard.
Oh,
right. So, and that I think that I know would help move things forward big time. I think that's my biggest hurdle right now that I have to kind of get over.
well, you'll get there. Yeah, if you do that, that's it. You'll get it.
Yeah.
That's what, like, you will. Yeah.
Well,
No,
with COVID, you play by yourself so often, right? And that's, that was just something mostly from this year. Like with the bands, we got out a couple times, our band here. We played some flash mobs like at retirement homes and things like that. And those were a lot of fun. And we have like 4 or 5 of us, and we'd play together. And then if somebody knew something that they've been working on their own, during this downtime, right, they could play it. And the guys encouraged me to be like, Catherine, play that one that you've been working on, right? And I'm like, and then I did. But it was like a low pressure kind of situation. We just had a lot of, folks from the seniors homes, and they'd come outside or just even open up their windows during a lot of those times when it was completely locked down. We try to play in areas where we knew they could open their windows and hear us, right? So those were some pretty special memories of this past year. But yeah.
Well, thank you so much for being part.
Thank you for organizing this.
Honestly, it was so funny when I was like, the whole year. Let's see if someone will do it. The whole year. Kath is like, how much does it cost to enroll? I'm like, what?
Yeah, well,
it was amazing. And then it was so funny because at the end of it, I was like, I can't give her a medal. Like, you know what I mean? Like a medal?
I didn't expect that. I just thought,
oh, a medal. Can you imagine? Here's my medal for a whole year of work. Because piping is so hard that way, like you look at them, you just look at them and you're like, oh, I've got to get those going. And it's like, it's the instrument where you have to play for like a half an hour in order to make it sound at least tolerable, because the whole instrument needs to warm up and, especially, and you did it through January. So you started January, then you would have sounded better in the warm months, and then you finished in January. So you have all those like high notes, and then all of a sudden, it starts going this way, and then you ended it where, you know what I mean? Because it is true. You started it that way and you ended it that way. So kudos to you.
chanter reads, like for the practice chanter, freeze in this weather, like in the seat next to you, just in a matter of like 20 minutes. Like, go to blow, and it's like,
Oh yeah. And like they start squeaking and they start like right when the weather, oh yeah, but you did it. And that's
yeah,
one thing too, which is so good that you did it because you know what your instrument is going to do in certain weather.
yes,
So
yeah,
that's so
in
good
every
because
weather.
yes. So then if you're like there's times where you won't be, or I tell you not to be too hard on yourself because a lot of time it is the weather that
Yeah.
no,
I
like, and it's
know,
so, but
it's
yeah,
actually me.
I mean, it is us too. I mean, like if you don't practice enough, it is us too. But like if you're playing really, and if you're not, if you're hungry, right?
Oh,
So when you're hungry and you're like playing, you're like, why can't I get this? And then your tummy's growling. Well, it's because you're trying to work out with nothing in you. So I mean, like, but you went through the whole year with all of this experience, and you did improve. That last video you sent me, I was like, who is this? Playing like it was the jig, right? Or the hornpipe. I can't remember. I'd have to look at it again. I thought it was the jig.
I
Wasn't
don't
it?
know. Yeah, I sent you, there was one jig that I remember when it was given to me, like, well, just about a year and a half ago. I was like, no way, I'm never gonna get this. And I'm like, I'm pretty close. Like I'm pretty close. There's a couple hiccups, but more than anything, it's trying to get it musical. And that's what listening back to those videos has really helped with, right? I
Mhm.
think especially with the jigs, because of course the hardest parts you always just speed up, right? And
Yes.
it's like, why do I do that? That part's hard,
Oh yeah, and
and
your GDEs, bum bum bum. They're really round, bum bum bum, which is good.
yeah,
Usually, like there's one that's off. No, they're really round.
that's the metronome on the dashboard every morning.
That's so important. Metronomes are so important.
uh,
Attention, everyone, a musician, metronomes are so important.
yeah, some people have a bobblehead on their dashboard. I have a metronome mounted
I
there.
love